Hello, Cynthia Ann Layton here, with gifts of trust for you, to help you to trust yourself, to do what you need to do to succeed in life, and in growing yourself to become the person you really want to become. Let me start by asking you, do you ever talk to yourself? Because that's okay. Indeed, if you talk to yourself, I'd like to say good job. If you don't, well, hey, maybe it's time to start. Because it is a good and useful way to encourage yourself to keep moving forward. And that's where trust comes from. And from my reading of different studies, my conclusion is that the results of studies suggest that gratitude is a good choice for self-talk. I do that myself. I start with gratitude because I found that it works for me. My practice of gratitude lifts me up and gets me to work on the right stuff. Oh, I don't do it right all the time. When I do, it gets me back again on track. And I trust myself to get back on track because I have this practice of gratitude that I keep coming back to, even on rough days. And simply observing my own gratitude throughout each day helps me to trust the path that I'm on, to trust myself, to do what I need to do. Because I do notice clues to what I'm successful at right now. And because gratefulness helps me to adjust course. And because, well, I tend to be more able to seek what matters to me when I'm aware of what I appreciate in the present moment. It's a clue that guides me, my own appreciation. Trusting myself to find the right path, no matter what happens, arises from my practice of gratitude, day in and day out. Because trust needs to be earned. And so I earn it by practicing gratitude. And practicing gratitude does get me in the habit of earning a little bit more trust every day because I become more aware of my consistent and persistent progress. Oh, I'm facing a lot of challenges right now, but I'm making progress. And that's success. In fact, each time that I recognize what I appreciate most in that moment, I become aware of yet another clue to what success means to me. Knowing what success means to me helps me to know what to do now and what to do next. Knowing what matters helps me. It guides me to be consistent. It guides me to be persistent. It guides me to find delight in doing the next step. No matter how mundane a task it may be, no matter how rough a day it may be, and no matter what happens, because a lot happens in life that we have no control over, and a lot happens that we have very little control over. Gratitude helps me to act. I act because I recognize that action matters to me. I act because I'm grateful for the action I've been taking. It took a lot to get to here. Success in getting through challenges, crises, and disasters. Learning to manage health issues. It's hard. Reflection on what I learned when I earned a degree in psychology, focused on the psychology of learning. That helps me too. And I experiment. So experimentation with moving forward, no matter what happens, is part of what builds trust for me. Little experiments, tiny things, tiny steps. And because I do tiny things, I keep making progress. And along the way, I gain trust in myself as I deepen my practice of gratitude. I also continue lifting myself up by learning about the works of other people. For example, I continue studying the research work that's out there, reading the works of folks with, well, a lot of experience and credentials, folks that are doctors, MDs, PhDs, and the like. People who are doing studies to find out more, to find out through scientific study. I'd like to disturb you a little bit right now. I'd like to say, hey, look around your life, right here, right now. Notice what you're grateful for in the present moment. It doesn't have to be something big. Observe what you feel right now. Not just the complicated parts, but the simple joys. Recognize what matters to you in this day. Just from a feeling of what you care about. Pick one thing, anything, that you feel would make a positive difference for you or someone you love. What you pick doesn't matter. It's the fact of choosing. Think of the smallest possible action you might take right now, something you really can do. Decide to find a way to do it. Maybe it's as easy as sending a loving text to a family member, or bringing a flower home for yourself or someone in your family. Perhaps it's as straightforward as going for a 12-minute walk to reduce stress, or stretching, going to the restroom now and stretching a little bit privately. Because you might be out and about, but you still can stretch because there's private spaces accessible to you. And if you're at home, you can stretch right now, and stretching helps your body, even if it's just simple stretches. Or it could be as simple as getting a book on a topic that you want to learn about, something you wish you knew, or wish you knew how to do. Maybe a printed book. I know that's old-fashioned, but that helps me. A printed book that you can hold in your hands and read before bedtime, for a bit to relax, or sometime during the day, lunchtime, breakfast, dinner, afterwards. Or maybe it's calling your library, talking to the research librarian, saying, hey, I'm interested in this, but I have no clue what book to read. But this is what I'd like to learn. Ask for what might be a good choice that the librarian thinks you might appreciate, and ask them to hold it for you, or to bring it in on interlibrary loan. Do something small. I start the process with gratitude, and it leads me to act. Gratitude earns trust because I do follow through. I do act. You will begin to follow through when you do something small, and then do it again. And just repeat it as a process. You'll begin to trust yourself to do what you need to do to succeed. And gratitude will help you get there. It's a simple way to get there. You begin to trust yourself when you see that you do the next step now. And now, and now, and now, and now, and now. Each time you do, you earn yourself a little bit of trust. You feel more comfortable with your world. You feel more comfortable with your direction to where you're headed in your world. And each time you do a small step, it helps you. Because each action that you take brings that step that you're doing closer to be a habit of action. Habits do build the routines that lead to success with effort over time. Success in what matters most to you. What matters second most to you. There's only 24 hours a day, so you can't pick a bazillion things and realistically expect them all to happen. But pick things that matter to you that are within your reach, and do small things towards making them real. Building a habit of doing a step makes it familiar. You get used to it. It begins to feel comfortable and becomes simpler. It becomes natural, just like you breathe, you brush your teeth, you drink a glass of water. Yes, it takes time to build a habit. It takes effort over time to keep moving forward to whatever success means to you. And yes, there are going to be bumps along the way. And you know what? It works. Good habits serve you well. So build good habits. Build habits that give you good feelings for doing your action steps. What you choose as your steps need to be about something that's important to you. And then you're going to get good feelings that remind you that you're on the right path to getting what matters to you to really happen. And that inspires you to feel more grateful and to do what you need to do to make what you want really happen. And you know what? A lot of the things that are important to you are going to take a lot of effort over a really long time. Making the time and effort to get yourself started into good habits that really fit you and what you can do and what you want. It's worth it. You give yourself a way to set yourself up to succeed over the long haul that works, to create things that you can't possibly do in the short term. Most people overestimate what they can do in the short term, but they way, way, way underestimate what they can do in their lifetime when they set themselves to it. Look to the long term. Hey, you could live to be well over 100 years old. Don't dread that. Look forward to it by building a life that you like and trusting yourself to do what you need to do to build that life that fits you. Not that fits somebody else's definition of success, but that fits yours. And you know what? There are going to be days when you've chosen a new course of action where doing the next step requires more out of you than you've got that day. More patience, more persistence, more figuring things out than you feel like responding with on that day. When that happens, stay the course. Persistently do the next step. Encourage yourself, urgently if necessary, that now you're going to do the next step. And use that self-talk to remind you of how your next step matters. Allow yourself to pick smaller steps on the days where you need to make it be a smaller step. Make it be what fits you. Allow yourself to evaluate whether you're really still headed in the right direction for you that fits. And allow yourself to adjust course when you need to. Give yourself breaks when you need to as well. And get back to what you need to do as soon as you can. Simply do what you need to do. And that includes adjusting for the realities of today. Yes, there will be times when fear creeps in. You may fear that you'll never accomplish what you set out to do. You may even fear that you cannot do a simple step today. When that happens, don't give up. Instead, trust yourself enough to realize that there will be times where you can't do a simple step, and that you're not quitting, you're taking a break or changing course. A practice of gratitude gives me the grounding necessary to make those adjustments on the fly in ways that fit who I am and what phase of life I'm handling. You can do that too. Trust yourself that you've chosen a path that helps you to respond in a way that fits you and that helps you to grow into the person you want to be. Trust yourself that if it's truly a day when you cannot do a step, that you will give yourself that day off. And you'll be more willing to do things on days where you can do them. Trust your judgment that you really don't need to take days off at times when you don't really need to. Give yourself enough scheduled in breaks that you have joy in doing other things too. Because when you come back to a task after a break, you're better at it because you're refreshed and relaxed. Trust yourself to allow all of these kinds of habits to form. They're not going to happen just because you decide them. They're going to happen because you do them persistently with daily steps that become a habit. It can take months to form a habit of doing an action step. Some people say you can make, a new habit in a month. My experience is that's not really true. It can take a long time. It's worth it though. Habits of doing, things your way make it easier for you to persistently do the next step, now and each day going forward. Once you form habits, you're going to find that it becomes easier to trust yourself, to do the steps that you set out as being important to your life on the days that you can. And you'll find yourself letting go of the things that stand in your way. In fact, over time, as you develop a habit of taking your action steps, you're going to find that there's more days when it is easier to take those steps, even when obstacles arise. You'll begin to trust yourself to do what you need to do to accomplish what's important to you on the days when you can. As you do, don't be afraid to talk to yourself, because it's important to encourage yourself to keep on taking the action steps you've chosen. It's important to encourage yourself. It gives you trust that deepens as you earn more trust in yourself. Thanks for being here. This is Cynthia Ann Layton, signing out. Hey, give me a thumbs up. Become a subscriber if you like it. Thanks.